Hello again and welcome to Coffee and Card with Linda from lindaspapercraft.co.uk. So this week we are on week 5. Wow, last one. Okay, so and this is the card we're going to make today. Lots and lots of layers on this card, as you can see, but it is just mainly just layering up and doing a little bit of colouring. So I had hoped I'd put the colours on there, but I haven't. Right, so in your pack you will have some pieces of designer series paper. So this one is 7 by 5.5 centimetres. This one is 12 by 5 centimetres. Little piece of vellum. Do like the way vellum looks on cards, excuse me, and that's 6 by 10. Then I've given you a piece here so you can decide what sentiment you want to use. So I've given you a chunk of basic white and I've cut the largest circle out of the stylish shapes dies. For those of you who haven't got the dies, those of you who have got the dies, I've probably just put a square in. I have pre-embossed this. It is one of my favourite embossing folders. Unfortunately not available anymore. It's a snowflake one, and it's just really pretty with those little snowflakes on, so I've done that for you. And then there's another piece of basic white, and these two, I think, yeah, 13.9 by 9.5. One for inside and one for the front, obviously. Right, so we're going to take the circle first. I'm going to stamp our little gnome. So, and I think I'll stick with the same one. I'm just thinking I've not really used this one. Will she fit? Let's have a look. She will. Right, okay, so we're going to use the lady with the plaits. Okay, so just get her onto a block and I'm going to stamp her using my go-to black ink, which of course is the Memento Tuxedo Black, because it dries really well over here. I've got the window open at the moment because it's a lovely breeze coming in, but every now and then there's a gust, so if everything goes flying, please excuse me. Right, I shall have to close it if it does. So Memento Black, yeah, things are moving. Memento Black, still not as juicy as the Stampin' Up pads, so you do need to make sure it's well inked. And then I'm just going to stamp that with her in the middle. Excuse my head if it's coming in, and sort of towards the top, because you're going to put the sentiment at the bottom, but it doesn't have to be absolutely right at the top. And again, it depends which gnome you're using, because obviously they're all different sizes. I've used the biggest one this time, just to ring the changes a little bit. There we go. How beautiful is she, and how beautiful is that stamp. Okay, I'll just clean that off with my cloth and we shall get on. Right, colour, colour, colour. So now we have quite a few sort of, well, we do have a set of skin tone blends. And I'm thinking, so I think I might go with this one. Just need a little scrap of basic white. Whenever I'm using the blends, I do like to have a piece of the card I'm doing it on, because if I scribbled it onto the grid paper, it will be a different colour. So I've just got out of my scrap bag a square of basic white. So that's a bit pinker than I was expecting. So I shall try this one. Yeah, I think I'll go with that one. So this one is SU 900 out of the skin tone range. So I'm just going to do a nose, and I'm going to skip that. There's a little reflection just on a nose there, so I'm just going to go around the outside. So, and then colour in her face as well. There we go. Now, I'm not doing any shading or complicated stuff. You can do if you want. I'm not very good at it, so I don't do it. SU 400, largely because I've not practiced. So I'm just thinking about this for a hair. So let's see. Oh yes, I like that. So we'll go. So this is SU 400 and I'm going to do her hair in this. And again, you can spend hours colouring hair, leaving white space, using dark colours. I once did do a unicorn. It took me about 2 days to do, and it was fabulous when I'd finished, but I'm more of a chuck it on and see crafter rather than a spending 3 days making one card. So just colouring. I'm going with that bit, looks like a ribbon of some sort. Okay, colour the other one in. And again, if you wanted to use different shades, you could use the lines drawn by the original artist as a guide of where the dark should go and where the light should go, but I'm quite happy with that. There we go. Right, so it goes there. So I think I might go a bit like I did with the other one. I think I've gone sort of pool party and shaded spruce. So this is the shaded spruce. I think I might do a shoes in dark shaded spruce, and I think I'm going to use, because they're sort of dolly shoes, they've got a band here. I'm going to use the smaller end. And I think because she's a nice trendy gnome, she will have matching gloves. We'll do the gloves in the green as well, or in the dark shaded spruce this is. Again, use the colours you've got. I'm going to try and leave the little frills on her gloves white. Again, why I'm using the narrow sort of bullet end rather than brush end. And just dotting that colour in because it'll spread out. So, right. To what to do next? It's sort of shouting out for some red. Maybe, I don't know, there's no red elsewhere in the card. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm going to do a hat. I think I'll stick with the muted colours like I have done in the previous, in the other gnome, in the example. So this is light shaded spruce for her hat. There we go. That's a bit pale just there. And then I'm going to go back to the shaded spruce for her, the bands on her hair, so that matches with the shoes and the gloves. And then I'm going to get the, ooh, what's this? Yeah, the dark pool party to do the rest of her. So put that in there. So I think the pool party and the shaded spruce go together so well. They really do tone. Can't remember what they call them now. They're not co-ordinates, like colour pairs, colour families. Almost sisters. Because they look so, they just go so well together. And I'm just leaving a pinny and a collar white So I've just seen some bits I've missed with the hair, so I'm just going back in, just on there. Once all the ink's spread out, often you just find a couple of white spaces where it didn't quite spread out into. So I'm quite happy with that. I think she looks nice and efficient. Okay, so there we go. That bit different. And now I'm just going to build the card together. So what sentiment? I'm thinking, and probably because I need hundreds and hundreds of Christmas cards, because my husband sends out all his clients handmade cards, so I do need to make loads. I always nix the nicest ones as well, so I have to make more. So just going to get this, and I'm going to put now the card base on. This one is Pacific Point. I did run out, so I then use the Tahitian Tide, which goes equally well with this. So you'll either have Pacific Point or Tahitian Tide, but because I've got Tahitian Tide, I will use Tahitian ink. You can use Night of Navy, goes really well, or you can go to our old favourites like Crumb Cake or Sahara Sand, or even just black. It's a very fine stamp, so a nice black sentiment, you know, ink on this works really well. Now I know everyone's going, oh my god, she's put it right in the middle. Why has she put it right in the middle? She has, because she's thinking on the job, and I'm thinking about seeing if it fits on my new dies. So you can just cut it to size or cut it out with a die if you've got. Oh, it's not going to. Oh, that is such a shame. I am just loving these. Should we just try it? These are the deckled rectangle dies. I think they're in the main catalogue. I'd held off on getting them, but I have not stopped using them since I got them. I think they're really, really cute. Right, let's get the baby cut and boss out and chop that. So as I say, you can cut it with your trimmer, or you can cut it using another die, or if you've got these dies, you can use these. Stitch rectangles will probably work as well. So I'm just going to do it from here, just so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing if I do it from this side. So the wind's just opened the die packet open. Right, and then just putting the second one on top, and I'll just feed that through. Send my mat everywhere. I'll put this away, and you can see there that it's got a deckled edge, so it's a decorative edge all the way around. And they actually layer up, and the deckled edges are actually the same, so just bigger. So they layer up beautifully. So if you don't have any rectangle dies, I definitely think these are the ones to go for. Excuse the plane. We don't often get planes coming over us. Right. Okay, so there we go. So we've got Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we're just going to build this card up now. So we've got a white piece for the inside. So what I often do, because I have a few old Stampin' Up stamps that have got really good verses in, so I make a load of Christmas cards and then I go back and stamp all the verses for the inside. I'll do a batch at once. Okay, although it's not, obviously. I do tend to say stamp first, then stick. But as long as you're careful not to over ink your stamps, they rarely go wrong with Stampin' Up. There we go. And then we're arranging the rest of it. So I started with this one. and I put it sort of, it's a bit off centre, maybe central. But if you just sort of eyeball where you want, you definitely want some of that showing and then some of this showing as well. So I am going to, can't remember which order I put them in. Let's have a let's have a sneaky peek rather. Oops, taking my dimensional off. So it's that, then that, then that. Okay, so let's put this on first. Couldn't find the glue then. So trusty Tombow. While you're using it, either put it in a little pot so it's upside down if you're using the narrow end. Obviously if you're using the bigger end you want it the right way up. So pop it in a pot upside down, then it's always ready. Or if you're in the middle of using it, then just pop it, just moving that up a little bit. I've put that in the middle, just about. So try again and get it straight. There we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to pop, now I'm sticking this on with snail, because I'm still using up my snail. It's running out. So I'm going to put that where it's going to be covered by the circle. I'm using snail, not wet glue, because you don't want the vellum to warp. That didn't work very well. Let's see. It is right at the end. There we go. So I'm just going to glue that down where I know the tape is going to be covered. Although actually, because we're sticking it on something white, you can't really see, or you can just see there where the tape makes the vellum more translucent. Next thing I'm doing is sticking this on, again because it's over the vellum, I'm going to use snail. Be better if I used it the right way up. Okay, and that's just going to go there. Yep. Making sure it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to pop a couple of the sparklies on her. So, poke tool, poke tool, poke tool. Right, I'm going to stick with the greener ones. So I'm going to put a little one up there and a bigger one on the grid paper. There we go. Let's do down there. Then when I'm putting my dimensionals on here, I'm going to put them under the stones, because if you are going to post it, if the dimensionals are between or either side of your diamantes stones, whatever you've put on, they will dip down and distort. So, golly me, I am on the tag end of this pack. So where was it? There it was. So I'm just going to pop one underneath that stone. Chop these up. And I can tell I've got one there. And that just supports the dimensional as it goes through the post. Supports the circle as it goes through the post. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and I do want one in the middle, so I need an extra chop. There we go. I'm going to pop that on. When I've got all the backings off. There we go. See, it's still curling it a little bit, even though we've only used tape. But it's nice, it gives it a bit of texture as well. So there we go. I've stuck her down. And then I'm going to add the sentiment just at the bottom here in the middle. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stick a dimensional right in that bottom corner so it catches the vellum. Okay, so right down there at the bottom. Let's make sure that is the bottom, that is the top. Let's pop it off because we don't want one there. You can just roll dimensionals off, they come off quite easily at this stage. Obviously once they've been on a while they are firmly stuck. Bottom, bottom, bottom. So a couple on the bottom, corners, there and there, and then I'm just going to put a dab of glue in the middle here where it's going to stick onto the circle. Still put them on the top, honestly. Right, we're going to have to double dimensional. When you don't concentrate. One. That off. So I'm just layering up my dimensionals at the bottom here, just on the edge so you can't see them. And then when I pop the top dimensionals on the circle, and like that, and then my bottom dimensionals, so the sentiment will be flat, and I'm just making sure that the bottom one is definitely sticking to the embossed layer as well as the vellum, just to anchor it down a little bit. Okay, so it took a little bit longer than planned, but there you go. So that's using a different gnome and a different sentiment on this card. So I hope you've enjoyed all these cards, and I'll see you in September, October. Oh my goodness. This year is going very, very fast. It's non-Christmassy. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember what it is. I'll send you the details. Okay, well, take care, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.